But this is what's so cool about the story. He said, okay, but we only have 5 loaves of bread and we only have 2 fish, they answered. And this was what was so cool, because we know kind of how the story went. This was something that came from just a young man. The fish and the loaves just came from one person. And this is kind of like the other side of the story. We just talked about giving is this community event and how everything put together can make a big difference. Well, this was just put on the heart or the faith of just a one person to say, I don't know what everybody else can give, and I see that this needs beyond me, but here's what I have. And it was that willingness to say, I'm going to go ahead and give it. And what's so awesome about this story, where did he give it to? I'm going to go ahead and put it in the hands of Jesus. And knowing that, I don't know what he already knew, but maybe he already saw miracles or Jesus do cool things, or he just trusted Jesus enough. Even if he hadn't seen a miracle yet, to be able to trust Jesus enough to say, okay, I know if this stays in my hands, it's not going to do anything. But if this can go in the hands of Jesus, then maybe he can make a difference with it. And so that's what happened. They answered with, we only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. So bring them here, he said. Then he told the people to all sit down on the grass. Jesus looked at the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looked up toward heaven, and he blessed them. And it's so cool in this scripture. You read more and you learn more about the Hebrew text and the background of the scripture. For Jesus, the phrase that he said here, for Jesus to be able to look up towards heaven means that he turned away from the lack. He turned away from the lack to where what they didn't have. He turned away from the lack and looked up towards heaven to say there was no lack in heaven. So he looked up towards heaven and he blessed them. And he began breaking the loaves into pieces, and he gave the bread to the disciples who distributed to the people, and they all ate as much as they wanted. And afterward, the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. So giving is something that not only can happen as a community event or a community commitment, to say as a community, we're going to commit to giving and say, let's get this done together, right? It's not just a community event, but giving is something that is when giving is multiplied when it's out of your hands, right? Giving is something that you're not giving unless it's something that's out of your hands. When something is in your hands, it is what it is already, right? It is what it is already. But when it's given, and when it's given to Jesus in this case, giving is multiplied when it's out of your hands.